Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving headfirst into the wild world of marketing mishaps. You know, those cringe-worthy moments when companies miss the mark so badly, it's like watching a commercial for disaster. We're talking about those epic marketing fails that are so spectacular, they don't just hurt a company's image, they actually drive them straight into bankruptcy. Buckle up, because we're about to dissect the top 10 marketing promotions that went from bad to bankrupt. Because let's be honest, who doesn't love a good cautionary tale? Okay, first up, we've got Pepsi and their, shall we say, interesting attempt at social commentary. Remember that Kendall Jenner ad? The one where she magically solves a protest with a can of Pepsi? Yeah, not their finest moment. But this ad, it was like they took every social issue, threw them in a blender, and poured out a big fizzy mess. People were not happy. They called the ad tone-deaf, insensitive, and out of touch. And you know what? They were right. It trivialized important social movements and just felt, well, exploitative. Pepsi pulled the ad pretty quickly, but the damage was done. Their reputation took a major hit, and it served as a stark reminder that not every brand should try to be woke. Sometimes it's okay to just stick to selling soda. The lesson here? Read the room, Pepsi. Next up, we're taking a trip down memory lane to the days of video rentals and those little blue and gold envelopes. Remember Blockbuster? Of course you do. But do you remember their no late fees campaign? On the surface, it sounded like a dream come true. No more late fees? Sign me up. But in reality, it turned into a logistical nightmare. People started holding onto movies for ages. New releases were impossible to find, and Blockbuster's profits plummeted. Their late fees were a major source of revenue, and getting rid of them backfired spectacularly. To make matters worse, this was happening just as Netflix was starting to gain traction with their mail-order DVD service. Talk about bad timing. Blockbuster eventually went bankrupt, and while the no late fees campaign wasn't the only factor, it definitely played a role in their downfall. Hold on to your shopping carts, folks, because we're about to enter the world of retail. And let me tell you, things are about to get messy. Remember Penney, the department store that was always having a sale? Well, back in 2012, they decided to ditch their beloved discounts and try something radical: fair and square pricing. The idea was to offer everyday low prices, no coupons or sales necessary. Sounds simple enough, right? Wrong! Customers were confused. They were so used to seeing those red sale signs and using their coupons that they felt like they were getting ripped off, even if the prices were technically lower. Sales plummeted, and Penney was left scrambling. They eventually brought back their discounts, but it was too little, too late. The damage was done, and the company has been struggling ever since. The takeaway? Don't mess with a customer's perception of value, especially when that perception is built on a mountain of coupons. All right, let's talk Super Bowl ads. They're the holy grail of advertising, right? Millions of eyeballs glued to the screen, just waiting to be wowed by your brand. But what happens when your Super Bowl ad is a dud? Just ask Radio Shack. Back in 2014, they shelled out big bucks for a Super Bowl ad that was supposed to be their big comeback moment. The ad featured a bunch of 80s icons trashing the store, implying that Radio Shack was finally getting with the times. But instead of a triumphant return, the ad landed with a thud. It was confusing, out of touch, and frankly, a little sad. People weren't sure what Radio Shack was trying to sell, and the ad just reminded everyone that the company was, well, stuck in the past. The Super Bowl gamble backfired, and the company filed for bankruptcy just a year later. Next up, we've got a story about a company that was once synonymous with photography, Kodak. Remember those yellow film canisters? Memories. But as we all know, the world went digital, and Kodak, well, they didn't exactly keep up. Now here's the kicker. Kodak actually invented the digital camera back in 1975. But instead of embracing this revolutionary technology, they sat on it, worried that it would cannibalize their film sales. Big mistake. By the time Kodak finally jumped on the digital bandwagon, it was too late. Kodak's story is a cautionary tale about the dangers of resting on your laurels and the importance of adapting to changing technologies. Calling all bookworms. Remember the joy of browsing the aisles of Borders, that magical place where you could get lost in a world of books? Sadly, Borders is no more, and their demise is a cautionary tale about the importance of embracing digital disruption. You see, Borders was slow to adapt to the rise of ebooks and online retailers like Amazon. They did eventually launch their own e-reader, the Kobo, but it was too little, too late. By that point, Amazon had already established itself as the dominant force in the e-book market with its Kindle device and vast digital library. Borders, on the other hand, seemed stuck in the past, clinging to their brick-and-mortar stores while the digital revolution passed them by. The lesson here? Adapt or die. Chapter 7. Circuit City's DivX Disaster. Remember Circuit City? They were like the cool, older sibling of Best Buy. But even cool, older siblings can make bad decisions. And in Circuit City's case, that bad decision was called DivX. DivX was Circuit City's attempt to create their own version of DVDs, but with a catch. These discs were designed to stop working after a certain number of views, forcing you to pay for more. Yeah, not exactly consumer-friendly. People hated the idea, and DivX flopped harder than a pancake on a treadmill. The format war was over before it even began, and Circuit City was left with a warehouse full of useless discs. This marketing misstep, coupled with other issues, led to Circuit City's downfall. It's a reminder that sometimes it's best to stick to what works and not try to reinvent the wheel. Chapter 8. Toys R Us, Toyless in the Digital Age. Remember the joy of running down the aisles of Toys R Us, grabbing every toy imaginable and declaring, "I don't want to grow up, I'm a Toys R Us kid"? Well, sadly, Toys R Us didn't quite grasp the concept of growing with their audience. In the age of online shopping and digital wish lists, Toys R Us was slow to adapt. Their website was clunky, their online presence was weak, and they seemed content to rely on their physical stores while the world was busy clicking and adding to cart. While Amazon was building a digital toy empire, Toys R Us was busy tripping over its own shoelaces in the online world. They eventually filed for bankruptcy, proving that even the most nostalgic brands aren't immune to the digital revolution. Chapter 9. American Apparel's Controversial Campaigns. American Apparel was a brand known for its Made in America clothing and, well, let's just say provocative advertising. Their ads often featured scantily clad models in suggestive poses, and while some people praised their edgy aesthetic, others found it exploitative and offensive. The controversy surrounding their ads overshadowed their actual products, and the brand became synonymous with shock value rather than quality clothing. As the saying goes, there's no such thing as bad publicity. But in American Apparel's case, their constant courting of controversy eventually caught up with them. Their sales declined, their reputation took a hit, and they filed for bankruptcy in 2015. It's a lesson in knowing your audience, understanding the power of brand image, and maybe not alienating half your potential customers. Chapter 10. Blackberry's Very Bad Decline. Remember Blackberry? Back in the day, those little phones with the physical keyboards were all the rage. Celebrities, CEOs, everyone had one. But then something happened. The iPhone came along, and what did Blackberry do? They basically shrugged and said, "Nah, people will always want our keyboards." Spoiler alert, they didn't. Blackberry was slow to innovate, their software felt outdated, and their marketing campaigns failed to capture the public's imagination the way Apple did. They went from being the hottest phone on the market to a cautionary tale about the importance of innovation and adaptation. Outroad, that's a wrap! Well, there you have it, folks, the top 10 marketing fails that led to bankruptcy. From tone-deaf ads to disastrous product launches, these companies made some pretty epic mistakes, and unfortunately, they paid the ultimate price. But hey, that's the thing about mistakes, right? They're opportunities to learn and grow. So let's all take a page from these cautionary tales and remember to listen to our audience, adapt to changing times, and maybe, just maybe, not try to sell soda during a protest. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more insightful content. Let us know in the comments which marketing fail surprised you the most.